Hello everyone, my name's Diane Kingston and I'm a member of the Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and I'm one of the Vice Chairpersons. So I want to thank you for inviting me to speak today, and apologies that I can't be with you in person. So first of all, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the CRPD Committee itself and the work that we're doing on women and girls with disabilities. So crucially, of course, in our jurisprudence, we talk about the specifics of women and girls with disabilities. And most recently, we've been developing a general comment on women and girls with disabilities. That general comment covers three key areas. The first of which is the intersection and multiple discrimination of women and girls with disabilities. I can give you two key examples of areas which specifically refer to women and girls with disabilities. The first being, of course, accessible breastfeeding areas in places of work. Of course, having a breastfeeding area in a place of work is good for a woman, with or without disability. But if that place is inaccessible, then a woman with disability cannot access that place. Another area could be, for example, the menstrual management of girls in schools with disabilities. So those girls have a higher dropout rate if they cannot access sanitation facilities within a school environment. The other two key areas that we're focusing on, but not exclusively, are violence against women, all forms of violence, exploitation and abuse. And the third area is sexual and reproductive rights and the right to found a family. And of course this is very pertinent to women and girls with disabilities in terms of forced or coerced sterilisation, abortion, contraception, and the right to found a family. This of course intersects with our Article 12 and our first general comment on legal capacity, especially as it relates to women and girls with intellectual or psychosocial disabilities. So I'd like to thank the CEDAW Committee very much indeed for your input into our general comment, and we would very much welcome any further information that you have as we're finalising our general comment for hopefully a public reading in our March-April session next year. Now, in terms of what you're doing, CEDAW Committee, on women and girls with disabilities, I have a few key messages that I would like to give you. The first of which is to really mainstream women with disabilities into the work of your committee. So actually name us, women and girls with disabilities. I would also very much like you to refer to our specific rights rather than generally, rather than refer to us as a group of other women who are marginalised or vulnerable. Actually naming us will go a long way in terms of your jurisprudence. The second is actually in terms of healthcare or education, for example, to talk about accessible healthcare, to talk about accessible, inclusive education. And in order to make it pertinent and real for the lives of women and girls with disabilities, to talk about accessibility not just in terms of the built environment, but to talk in terms of information and communication as well. So to talk specifically about sign language interpreters for deaf women and girls, to talk about easy read formats for people with intellectual disabilities, and to talk about braille and large print for people who have visual impairment or are blind. Another area is that of data and statistics and the invisibility of women with disabilities. I would very much welcome you to recommend states parties in your concluding observations that they collect data, disaggregated data, specifically on women and girls with disabilities. And my final point is really to ask you very kindly if you would cross-reference the work of our committee, our jurisprudence, in your own concluding observations and further general recommendations or general comments. To talk about the work that we're doing would really enforce our work and would also complement and contribute to the treaty body strengthening process as a whole. So I wish you very well at this side event, and I wish you well for the rest of your CEDAW Committee proceedings. Thank you once again from me, Diane Kingston.